Hello viewers, welcome to our program on Immigration and You. I am your immigration attorney Michael Fulwani, and once again we have with us attorney David Nachman. David, welcome.
Thanks so much, Michael. Thanks.
So in today's program, let us start with an important announcement about the immigration seminar that has been organized by GOPIO on Sunday, June 9th, and the Stamford Hampton Inn and Suites is going to be a very good program because David and me both, we are going to be there. We probably may have some government officials coming there. So we are really inviting you. It's probably luncheon there.
Yeah, the program starts at 12:30, Michael. We'll be serving lunch first, and then at 1:30 we'll start the seminar, and we'll be talking about comprehensive immigration reform and how the provisions of the comprehensive immigration reform may affect you, our viewers. And of course, we're going to talk about things like administrative processing at the U.S. consulate abroad. We'll be talking about possible alternatives to H-1B if you didn't make the cap this year. And we'll talk about some other new, the electronic I-94 and some other new and developing and burgeoning areas.
By the way, luncheon is not free. There's a small charge of $18, and which I think you will enjoy coming there. A nice luncheon. And as usual, we are always there to answer any questions you may have, whether they are covered by the topics David mentioned or not. We are always, there to answer any questions. So please do come. And on behalf of GOPIO, we invite all of you to come and attend the program.
Exactly.
Okay, so what else is today's program is some of the items that we want to cover. Let me see what I can talk about is an important issue, which is a very interesting, very helpful. There was, I think, a few months ago, they made an announcement, USCIS, that they may waive the interviews. Right now, what they have been doing, and David, I should confirm my recollection, is that if a citizen files a petition for a parent, and all the documents are okay, and they don't see any reason really to call for the interview. They don't even call for the interview. You just get a letter in the mail, your case has been approved, 485 has been approved, and your green card is in the mail. So they are expanding that program now to further categories of people that can benefit under that also. Unmarried minor children and stepchildren of U.S. citizens that are accompanied by original or certified copies of the supporting documents. I am not going to repeat this point because all what I am mentioning is waiverable only if you submit either the original or certified copies of the documents. As David will agree with me, generally we do not recommend people to submit your originals. Originals get lost and then becomes a problem. Hold the originals with you. Just get the certified copies of the documents, and that may help in you're not going for the interview. The other category is the K1 fiance citizen children of the citizens, fiances or children of the citizens. Native citizens of Cuba, that mostly doesn't apply here. Unmarried and under 14-year-old children of green card holders. Cases where applicants have been interviewed in the course of an investigation or field examination and adjudication examines determination, further interviews unnecessary. Sometimes at the time of interview they hold the case, and when that whatever is completed and they are satisfied, there is no reason for them to call the person again for interview. So which is thing. Again, the cases which the sufficient evidence contained in the record to support or deny adjustment of statute application. In other words, they had an issue that they were going to deny, and they asked for the more documents or information. You submit the documents. If they are satisfactory, no need to call the person for interview again. For what?
Exactly.
You did what you needed to do, verify.
Right.
But they say, in these cases that I am telling now, there will be no waiver. And those are people that are applied under Section 245I. In other words, they did not enter legally, they crossed the border or overstayed, and they are applying under Section 245I.
Right.
Especially they're coming without admission. overstay may not be, but without admission, they definitely want to interview. How did you come? When did you come? Because that's an issue always.
Right.
And as a part of the family packet, unless every applicant in the family packet meet the interview waiver criteria. In other words, let us say that children or wife meet the criteria of waiver, the husband does not. They say no. In those cases, all of them will have to be interviewed. So isn't this a very good thing? Because how much problem?
It's it's a good thing, Michael, from the standpoint of the government's taking certain actions to cut down on the amount of cost that's involved in the process.
But it also helps the people that don't see if there's a clearly approvable case.
Right.
There's no reason to call. The person has to go, the lawyer has to go with him for the interview, they have to prepare the interview, and sometimes some immigration officers are so far, it becomes a problem. So once they get in the mail, the green card, would be very happy.
Exactly.
Very happy with this. It's a very good thing.
Exactly. And this is probably a good time, Michael, for us to just take a slight aside, and that is that, you and I were talking before about the new provisions about verification that they're going to be having at the adjustment of status interviews now. Yeah. And as you were aware, recently, I believe it was May 6th or May 7th, they came online with a new program whereby individuals who go for their adjustment interviews have to be verified when they go to the district offices for their interviews. And what it requires is that and apparently the way it works is that when you go for your interview, before you even hand in your notice, you're going to be queued up for verification of your fingerprints and your photographs. And this is to avoid the possibility of someone else coming in to take advantage of the benefits that are being given to you.
So this raises another issue in my mind. Now the policy that we, just described on a waiver, I don't know if the biometrics, when you go for the interview, is only for the purpose of confirming the identity, whether this person is the same or not. Then maybe that policy still can continue. But if there's some other reasons for them to re-verify before they can send the green card to them.
Well, what's interesting, Michael, it's a good point that you're raising, and what's interesting is that the day that this program came into effect, which was about 2.5 weeks ago, what ended up happening is that they had to put it on hold. And as of the time that we're sitting here talking, I don't even know if it's been brought back online, but apparently they were having some technical problems. It could be, and I was thinking when actually the first day that it came online, several of our lawyers were at the district offices for interviews, and what ended up happening is they came back complaining that they waited around and it didn't work.
Exactly.
And so I was thinking that they weren't able to ping the correct databases to get the information, because I believe ident and these were some of the databases that they were trying to ping. So I guess maybe that was the problem.
Yeah, I see.
So, but I'm not sure whether that was the actual issue. Michael, I'd like to just bring up a couple of quick items that are going on, so maybe our viewers would be interested. Number one is with regard to the EB-5, which is the investor visa classification. And this might be old news because it's probably about a week and a half old. A new office was created in Washington, D.C., which is being headed up by Daniel Renaud, who was the Vermont Service Center director. He was transferred to Washington. He's heading up the EB-5 office. The EB-5 office is a specially trained group of people who will be adjudicating EB-5 and also regional center classifications. So it's sort of nice to see that they're centralizing. That was actually handled by the Tiger team out in the California Service Center. So I guess what they've done is centralize that into Washington, D.C., where they're going to be handling it. And for those of you who are businessmen, what's really interesting is that the CIS is taking a very proactive role in the Entrepreneur in Residence program. Actually, in Chicago about a week and a half ago, the director, Alex Mayorkas, talked about how successful the Entrepreneur in Residence program is, and what he actually is doing is on the U.S.CIS website, they're looking for executives to come in and share information with the government. So if you're a business person and you have executive or managerial skills for an organization and you're willing to share with the government how they should be treating entrepreneur in residence cases, please go online and think about possibly registering yourself. If you pass a background check, you could be able to provide the government with information that will help entrepreneurs and residents here in the United States get footing. And this means create jobs here in the United States, create organizations that are adding value to our nation's economy. And that's really, really important. In fact, it's one of the cornerstones of comprehensive immigration reform, which we've been talking about on so many programs.
So saying this is not this now in existence. It's a part of the CIR, right? The CIR is passed then.
Well, yeah, and actually it's really interesting to see that we have CIR that's going on one track, and then it's almost like CIS is trying to keep pace with what CIR is talking about in terms of the entrepreneur in residence, in terms of the job development, in terms of the investor visa. So it's almost like they're trying to keep pace with what Congress is actually talking about. So it's, and I think it's great that they're doing that, because it's almost like if CIR gets passed, it's almost like they're going to be able to plug right in to the provisions that are coming up. So it's really important for our viewers, as it is for us as legal practitioners, not just to look at CIR in a vacuum, but we have to be keeping pace also with the developments of what's going on a day-to-day basis in the current regime.